What's your business's biggest emotional challenge area? Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. We are focusing on emotional health and well-being of our business all this month as part of this year's challenge, the Be a Better You annual challenge and the Supersize Your Business group. I'm kind of combining and meshing the topics for content creation together this year. And today's topic and this month's entire topic is emotional health and well-being. And we want to identify your biggest challenge area in order to apply the SOAP framework to it. We want to soap it up so we can supersize your business and either mitigate, minimize, or eliminate it altogether in your organization. Some things will come up, on a regular basis, and we just deal with them as they come up. Other things are kind of systemic, and we want to take care of them and make sure that we mitigate any circumstances that would be negative on our organization. This involves emotional things that come up in our culture. If we have a hustle culture, for example, depending on the type of business you're in, a hustle culture that's snuck in the back door of your organization may be detrimental. If people are feeling anxious, depressed, stressed out, overwhelmed, all of those things are things we want to take care of, mitigate, and eliminate in our organization. A lot of times when we're growing and supersizing, people's roles are changing, and that can cause a lot of stress and drama and trauma to people. And we want to make sure that our growth is in a way that other people can grow along with us and that they can create the lives and the emotional health that they want, just like we want to for our organization and the culture of our organization. So today we are going to identify one emotional challenge area, probably our biggest emotional challenge area, and we're going to apply the SOAP framework to it over the next 4 days. So how can we go about doing that? I like to check and say, okay, what's the current emotional temperature of our organization? Just like a thermometer, I like to measure things. I like to take things that are really subjective and emotional, spiritual, mental, things like that, mindset, culture. The whole topic of culture tends to be very emotional and very hidden from our eyes. A lot of times because we don't want to see it. Things sneak in, and it happens to my businesses and everybody's businesses. So, I'm preaching to myself as well as everybody else. Things sneak in to our culture and our environment. You hire the wrong person, and they bring their negativity or their past baggage from other roles into our organization and become like that bad apple that's rubbing people the wrong way. And if we don't address it, if we don't help them help themselves be better, it can destroy our whole culture, or it can cause challenges in our culture and in our organizations that we just don't need to have. There's enough outside challenges that will impact us over the course of building our business. We don't need to ignore them or ignore the negative things that come up in our culture and in our organizations. If we don't, it's like, and here's my prime example of this. In corporate America, in one company I worked for, instead of addressing the problem, like if somebody did something that wasn't appropriate, instead of working with that person and saying, listen, you've been late 20 out of the last 30 days. What are we going to do about this? They would just enhance the whole tardy policy and roll it out to everybody in the organization. So 800 people were reminded of the policy because they never really changed it. Instead of just talking to the one person and giving them feedback and saying, hey, what's going on in your life? Can we help out? What's up that you can't seem to get here on time ever? Does the person have a health challenge or a drinking problem or a substance abuse problem? Do they have young kids at home that they're trying to get off at school? Maybe we give them a flexible start time. There's so many solutions to anything that comes up, but you don't know if you don't ask. And you don't know if you don't address the actual thing that's going on and you try to expand it to everybody. Drove me absolutely up a wall. And it was one of the things I made a change to in my department, and then that spread to the rest of the organization, was like, listen, these are our policies, these are our standards, but if somebody has a performance issue, that is a totally different thing. I literally did 1,000 performance appraisals in 1 year with that organization to address that kind of thing that was going on in our culture. All right, so what do we know what that is? If you don't know, ask other people. Ask 10 people in your organization, what's the current temperature, or what is the biggest challenge emotionally in the company, working in the company? What are you hearing most? And the thing you're hearing the most, whether you believe it or not, or experiencing or not, that's the thing you want to address. Can't tell you how many times I've done this in my business, is ask that question of a bunch of different people and a diverse group of people throughout the organization, and then dramatically surprised by what they were saying, feeling, and experiencing versus what I thought was going on in the culture in the organization. So be open to that and don't be upset about it. Realize we only see what we can see, and sometimes we don't want to see some of the stuff that's going on in our organization that isn't 100% positive and healthy, right? We don't want to know that there's a bully in the sales department that is, terrorizing other people around the organization because of their own insecurities, right? We don't want to necessarily know that. Been in a company that was happening. So today, pick one emotion, an emotional area that's a challenge for your organization right now that you know that if you applied the SOAP framework to and made some changes and addressed that, it would have a positive impact on your business. I say anything negative that's going on emotionally in your business that you make a change to and impact, it's going to have a positive ripple effect throughout your entire organization and your culture. All right, if you need help doing this, hit me up and ask. I've done it for thousands and thousands of businesses with thousands and thousands of other people. All of these things that we work on are time-proven, tested processes, except when I tell you, hey, I just found this and it's a new one, let's do it together. Then it's a new one. Otherwise, I've used them literally for some of them for decades. My whole framework, my whole life framework, that 9-part thing, I learned that as a 7-part framework from Jim Rohn and Tony Robbins back in the 80s, the 1980s. Yes, I am that old. All right, so what are we doing today? We are picking one emotional challenge area that we want to apply the SOAP framework to over the next 4 days. All right, have an amazing day, and I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow.